Welcome to Subramani. How long can you live as a student? Right? This is a question which I keep asking young boys and girls who are just about taking up a job. They've lived frugally for maybe 4 years or 6 years, whether they did their engineering or MBA, especially when they lived out of town. So they lived with their friends, they lived in the chamari. 4 people shared a house, 6 people shared a house, whatever. They shared a room, they had all those constraints. And they lived frugally. Maybe they lived on 10,000 a month or 12,000 a month. Can they afford to live like that for 5 more years after they start earning? Will they live for 5 more years after they start earning? The answer is no. Very, very unlikely that a person will live just like a student for 5 more years. Okay, let's say you double your expenses from 10,000 to 20,000 rupees. Can you live on 20,000 rupees? Look at the expenses that you did not have as a student. You did not have a home mortgage. You did not have a car mortgage. Maybe you did not have a car at all, or your father gave you a car which was paid for. Maybe you did not have a bicycle, or maybe you had a bike. And that's about it, right? Those were your bigger expenses. Other than that, you paid for your hostel mess, or maybe you had a cook whom you were paying, and things like that. And you lived a decent life, but life of a student, not life of a person earning money. You had to ask your father for any of those expenses. So paying 12,000 rupees for one musical night was difficult. I mean, I'm not even talking of flying down to a foreign country to watch a musical. I'm just saying a simple musical in India, in the city in which you were, which cost 6,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees, was beyond your budget, and you did not, because you knew you had to ask your father for it. Can you live for some more time like that and start saving money? It's a fantastic thing to do, but not very many people will be able to do it. So let's say you have doubled your expenses from 10,000 to 20,000. You live a little better. You're 2 people sharing a 2 BHK, so you're not sharing a room, you're sharing a house. So you're paying for the servant, you're paying for the rent, etc., etc. And that's how we are living, and we are still living frugally. But it is not so easy, because spending more is not so difficult, right? You pick up a magazine and see ads. There will be about 15 ads, out of which 14 are asking you to, urging you to spend more than your capability. So if you are able to buy a small car, they'll urge you to buy a big car, right? So all those things happen. Everybody is nudging you to spend more, and here I am trying to make a video saying try to spend less. But if you live like a student for 5 more years and you are able to put away money for various goals of yours, which could be marriage or paying for your own marriage, it's not very common. Buying a car, but having enough money to make a reasonably big down payment. You're buying a 10 lakh rupee car, there's a 5 lakh rupee down payment. You're buying a 5 lakh rupee car, here's a 2.5 lakh rupee, 3 lakh rupee down payment, right? Not just a token down payment. Maybe you want to buy a house after some time, so you're doing an SIP to put enough money to buy a house or make a reasonably good down payment for that. Right? So if you're doing all that, then it is difficult to be spending too much. So, but spending too much is not very hard when you're doing. So first of all, spending too much is not too hard. Second, if you don't have a budget, very good chance that you will spend more. So when you start classifying your expenses, saying these are your fixed expenses and these are your variable expenses, understand variable expenses are just that. So if you have a partner, sit with her and see what were your variable expenses or splurging expenses, and you will realize if you had waited for a little more time, maybe half an hour, 1 hour, 2 days, you could have spent less on that. It's just a great exercise to do, to say, should I have bought this at this price? And the thing is, oh, I could have shopped here and got a better price. I'm assuming you've done the shopping, then you're assuming you've done the shopping cold-bloodedly after looking at all alternatives, then it may not be true. But if you're in a mall and you like something and you buy it, very good chance that you're overpaying for it. So these are some 2-3 things. Then any I mean, a bigger car, more rent. I still think you should spend money on your health insurance, on your term insurance. Those are things which you can't avoid. Maybe you're sending money to your parents, maybe you're repaying student loan. All those things have to be prioritized, but those things which you need not. For example, if you're living in a big metro like Mumbai, maybe you don't need a private car. You can definitely get by with without a private car, or without a motorcycle, which is anyway dangerous in big cities. So you can do all that. I have no doubt that you can live like that. So when you start living like that for 4-5 years along with your better half, then what happens is suddenly you have a big corpus to do things that you want to do. You're less worried about losing your job. You're built for yourself a safety net. You have put together some money to buy a bigger vehicle, or buy a vehicle, buy a house, right? You've done all that. Now you're less scared about losing your job. You got more guts to talk to your boss. You're willing to complain some things which your boss did to the HR or to the higher authorities, right? It gives you more confidence. It gives you more confidence to say, okay, I think I can do this. I can change my job. I can afford to remain jobless for maybe 15 days, 1 month, right? Or if you are an engineer who has put together all this, you can say, okay, now I have enough money to make a down payment for my college education. So I'm going to do my MBA, which costs 30 lakhs. And for this, I may take only 10 lakhs from my father, and the other 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs will come from a loan, and 10 lakhs will be mine, right? So you can do that those kind of options are now available. So look at what lifestyle you want to start, because like I said earlier also, spending more is not very difficult. It's not hard at all. So do all those things as a student. I mean, as a student, think and plan all this, because when you get your first job, there will be huge temptation to increase your lifestyle. And after some time, you will find, my God, lifestyle creep was so much that I don't have enough money. I bought things which I just went berserk, and I got completely out of control. And today I'm earning much more than what I thought I would earn. After 5 years of working, my salary has gone up maybe 200% from where I started, but I continue to have no money. Now when you start living frugally and say, okay, I will not spend more than what I was spending as a student, maybe a little more than what I was spending as a student, till I get my first raise, or till my compensation reaches X amount. Let's say you started off on a salary of 10 lakhs. You say, till my salary goes to 15 lakhs, I will continue to live the lifestyle of a student, or I will not buy a car till my compensation reaches 17 lakhs or something like that. Set for yourself some targets and say, on the achievement of these targets, by whoever, you worked hard so you got it, or maybe your father gifts you a car, or any of those possibilities are there, or your mother gives you a car, your aunt gives you a car, anything like that, or your cousin says, look, I am selling off my car and this is what I'll get, I'll give you a discount, or I'll give you an installment. That's a nice way to get a second-hand car, and that might work for you. So think for yourself, put yourself some targets and say, on achievement of these targets, I will do this. I will pay at least 60% down payment for a second-hand car. I will pay at least 40% down payment for a house, right? Set for yourself those financial targets too. But try living as a student for a few years. Maybe it is difficult, but I'm saying not even strictly as a student, that double the expenses as a student. You still have to pay for insurance, you still have to pay for all those things. I'm not saying you don't have to, but lifestyle creeps, like spending on credit cards and then wondering from where this money is going to come, living beyond your means, buying things which you may not need immediately, buying branded things to show off. Be careful about these things. Experiences, I'm still fine, because you cannot really climb the Himalayas at 40. If you must do it, you must do it when you're 25. It is much easier to do it at 25 than at 35, and easier at 35 than at 45. So some of these experiences which you cannot postpone, you should not postpone, right? You cannot really enjoy skiing in your 60s. You must enjoy that in your 20s. Some things you can do in your 20s, some in your 30s, some in your 40s. But buying things, I think you can postpone, and suddenly you might have more fun doing events and doing things, and rather than buying things. So I'm not saying don't spend, but spend on experiences. Those will be cherished more than what things you buy. The things you buy will fade away, and the minute you buy it, you actually lose interest in it. Thank you.